Hi all, welcome to another Matchbook Horse Racing podcast. It's a decent fare this week where we've got 7 races to preview, all up north between Beverley and Haydock. It's hotting up off the back of this across all sports. So obviously you've got Royal Ascot, which is on the agenda. That's the week after next. We'll be looking to go into that week definitely with a couple of podcasts, one on the Monday, I would imagine, then one midweek as well. That is the week after next. We'll still have one for you next week. And towards the back end of next week, Euro 2024 kicks off. So there'll be loads of matchbook content with Dan and the team coming your way throughout the week, building up to the Euros. Don't forget to check out our horse racing markets this weekend. We tend to be the best price on the odds checker grid, given that Matchbook is an exchange, but have a look at that. If you are best price hunting, which you should be, and if you like our content, the best no-cost way of supporting our podcast is to like and subscribe to the podcast, and you can like and subscribe on the YouTube channel as well. There we go. We should say welcome back, Adele Mulrennan. Hi, Adele. Flat season's back. Although it's been back a while, and now you're back. How's things?
All good, thank you. It's lovely to be back with you all. Have you missed me?
Honestly, loads. I was going to say we've had to put up with Steve Jones in your absence, but he's still back. I don't know how.
Well, you've all done a sterling job without me. I don't think you even need me.
But I mean, we'll see. To be fair, Charlie Poste has been in good nick, and like we bill him as a national hunt specialist. But you've been banging in the flat winners, Charlie, and you're in your car again.
I'm in my car again on my travels, and yeah. I mean, the flat, yeah. I feel like I'm evolving that way in later life now. So yeah, maybe that's where the future lies, Tom.
The evolution of Charlie Poste. Good. Right. We're going to get stuck straight in then. So the first race we're doing is the Achilles. It's obviously the second up run of Living the Dream, who's dividing us a little bit. It's 2.0 currently. I'll come to the Living the Dream team first of all, if I can, because I'd be somewhat against. Steve and Charlie are with. Steve, why?
He's not my sort of price, but I just think he's the best horse in the race. And he comes off the back of a really promising return to action at Haydock. And he won the Nunthorpe. He's a Group 1 horse. He ran well in the Breeders' Cup. He's got a lot of speed, which you need at Haydock. And I just can't see him beating this at this level. He's not my sort of price, but if you fancy backing short ones, you can do far worse, I think, than back in Living the Dream.
Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I wanted to be against him, and I looked at Democracy Dilemma, Pink Crystal at bigger prices, but I just kept coming back, like Steve says, that he's a Group 1 winner. I thought there was nothing wrong with his return behind Kurdos at the track in a Group 2 last time. If he improves, well, he does need to. I don't think he needs to improve upon that. I think that run would be good enough. There is pace pressure, but there was last time as well, and he still acquitted himself very well. Would I think he's an attractive bet at 2.0? Possibly not. So I can see the lay angle, but I still think he's the most likely winner of this race.
All right, just because I'm against, I'll come in next. I agree he's the most likely winner, but my starting point was to be against him. I feel like he's a sort of profile of horse who you can take on because of that freakish run at York. It was almost like a downhill ski slope that day, and it was at the meeting when it's quick ground, and it suited him down to the ground. The ground's not going to be quite as quick as that here. He could even be a back to lay horse. I think he'll probably trade shorter than he is, but he didn't have a penalty last time, and he's got a penalty this time. So he ran probably £10 below his current rating last time. And I can just see him being caught, to be completely honest. Then I went through the field, and the trouble was I didn't know who was going to beat him because they don't look much up against him. But if he's 2.0 or shorter, I'll probably just lay him rather than back to lay him. But there's every chance he'll trade shorter than he is. But I would just be slightly against Living the Dream. I don't know, Adele, if you are out and out against, but you're going to support the second favourite currently, which is Believing at 7.0.
Yeah, because Living the Dream, I completely respect. He's probably got some of the best form coming in to the race, but it just worries me that they could end up going really, really quick. And I thought it might just set up for something that just is going to be off the pace. Living the Dream will go forward. T-Spirit will go absolutely flat out, and he could end up ruining anyone's race. he's a bit of a free goer. Corker's got the cheap pieces on. If he jumps better in them, he'll probably be bang up there. Democracy Dilemma will be bang up there. Marshman, if he jumps well, he'll be bang up there. So there could be plenty of pace on her. I just wondered if it might just set up for something like Believing, who'll come off the pace. She's always won on her second start of the year. She's obviously dropping down from Group 1 company into listed company. This is 5 furlongs is obviously a bit of a question mark for her, but I just thought if they go quick, it might just set up for something that's got a little bit more stamina. She has. I quite like a form of regional when she was third in the Temple Stakes there last year. So I'm just going to take a chance with a second favourite. It's a bit short for me, Living the Dream, and I could just see the race just setting up for something that comes off the pace. If he gets out and he gets his own way, fair enough. And the best horse has won, but the race could just fall apart a little bit for him.
Not a bad race to play the places either, given that we've got 8 lining up currently. Okay, we're switching between Haydock and Beverley consistently. So we'll go now. We're just basically going ITV card running order, if you like. 205 is the Hillary Needler. It's the Fillies Conditions race. And this is open. Currently 5.5 for More Lamb. Storm Call 9.0. Aviation Time in the Bronte Collection colours as well is 10.0, as is Mademoiselle. And bigger prices thereafter. It was too tricky for me. My starting point was whether or not I could get Mademoiselle past More Lamb, and I'm not sure I could. I thought she was probably the right favourite, well drawn as well, although she probably want to be better away than she was last time, given that this is at Beverley. Adele, you've got a fairly big price.
Well, I to be honest with you, I think if she was trained by someone else, she'd probably be a little bit shorter. She's tough, she's game, she's a course and distance winner. I didn't think she ran all that bad at York last time out. She was only beaten 4.5 lengths. All right, that maybe was just I don't think it's really a track either, York. And then the format has actually not worked out that bad. The 8th and the 12th have finished, have won since. So she obviously finished 10th. Jason gets on very well with her. He won on her last time out. I mean, she only cost £5,000, but she's got a good draw in 3. She'll be ridden quite forward. A few of them I like for very different reasons. Aviation Time, I liked her. I thought she ran well when she won at Kempton, and the horse that was second to her is one that I was an underbidder to at the sales, and I like her. I thought maybe she might be more of a 6 furlong filly eventually, Aviation Time. But I think Cosme Housewell at price, I don't think she's done a whole lot wrong. And she goes well there. And Beverley's one of those tracks where having experience there is not a bad thing at all. Like, I do think having experience at Beverley is a good thing.
Do you think you have to be low over the 5 furlongs, or is that the distance that is much more an advantage drawn low?
Well, when the ground's riding softer, you can get away with being drawn wider, but usually when the ground's on the quick side, then they'll most notably try and go over towards that side. So there's a few of them that go forward, but she doesn't have to lead. I just thought being drawn in 3, she could get up there. You've got a few like Marlam, who wasn't the quickest away when she won at Thirsk, and obviously in draw 1, I thought it's not an ideal draw if she's a slow starter. Like, she'd have to come round them all if she ends up missing the break. So although she was a good performance, very professional of her at Thirsk, and obviously Adrian Nicol thinks a lot of her, I just thought if she misses the break, it's not an ideal draw for her.
That concerned me. Call me Harswell, Adele's selection. And Steve, yours is a fair price as well. Powerful Lady.
Yeah, Irish Raider was 4th on debut and hasn't run since. But the form of that looks pretty good. The second, Powerful Nation, and the third, Sir Yoshi, have both won similar races since. I'm not saying it was the greatest maiden ever run in Ireland, but it was a very good starting point for Powerful Lady. And this is a wide open race. I'm surprised that she's such a big price. It was one of those kind of price based selections, because this is wide open. But Powerful Lady, what she achieved on her debut, and she looked like she was going to certainly improve a fair bit on that, but she's got a lot of speed that you'll need in this, and she's got a decent enough draw. Maybe it's because she's not won yet, but 2 of the last 5 winners went into it after 1 run, having been placed. So that won't put me off at all. And I think she's got a good chance. I think she's more interesting than a lot of the fillies that are lining up. So Powerful Lady is the one I came down on.
225 at Haydock is up next. It's a 9-runner handicap over 1.5 miles. You've got Magalak, who currently heads the betting. That wasn't the case yesterday, actually. We just shortened up a touch. 5.0. Davina Grace is 6.0. Knightswood is 6.5. Our selections. Well, Steve, I'll come back to you because I've read yours. Knightswood 6.5. Then we get a bit bigger. Why Knightswood?
Yeah, Knightswood's one of my best bet. Well, he's my best bet of the day because last week and this horse ran third at Doncaster behind Lexington Knight, but got no sort of run whatsoever, and that was on softer ground. I think he's better on faster ground personally, and if you go back to last season, he had a progressive profile. He wasn't seen after June, so he must have had a little bit of an issue, but he came back first time up on soft ground, ran really well. Then it blew out at Newmarket, which probably isn't his track. He'd been to the July course before and run badly, and I just think that maybe Newmarket doesn't suit him, but bounced back from that and was just really unlucky last time. I think that this will set up nicely for Knightswood, so I was with him.
Okay. Charlie, who do you like, sir?
Davina Grace. I mean, the price, I must admit, is when I was looking earlier, there was sort of 11.12.0 available for this filly. I mean, it's a lot shorter all of a sudden now. But I still think she's very interesting. You know, she was very ultra progressive last year, won a couple of starts at Bath and Newmarket, and then ran a cracker on her last start of last season, finishing second in a real good handicap at Newmarket, going down but quite narrowly. Returned this season with a really good first run at Goodwood, finishing third. She hung a little bit right under pressure, but I feel maybe that was just to do with getting a fraction tired on her first start back. Maybe conditions were a little bit slower than is ideal for her as well. She's a 4-year-old. I still think there's room to progress. She was bumped up a pound for that run, but I don't see that as a problem. She's by Golden Horn, who again has switched over to be a jump stallion now, but I think is a very good dual purpose sire. And they definitely progress with age and time. And I just felt, like I say, I mean, certainly when she was a win and place option, she was very, very interesting. But I still like her in this race as a thoroughly unexposed filly with definite claims that she can progress and rank higher again this time round, Tom.
The ground's going to be interesting, incidentally. I've just seen there are 17 non-runners because of going at Haydock tonight.
Mm.
So I guess, is it just much quicker than people? Is everyone working on good to firm?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess at Dex, people are like, it's Haydock. It's be good to
I do think it's a track as well. When it comes up quick, it is very, very quick.
I think it might be slightly easier on the straight. I think there's good in places there, but either way, my enthusiasm taking on Living the Dream slightly tempered by that quickening ground. But there we are. No, I'm like, shit. Can I backtrack? Right, where are we? Adele, you agree with Charlie? Or maybe he agrees with you. Go on.
Everything Charlie said, basically. She's a real kind of, there's nothing feminine about her. She's quite angular and robust, and she's really kind of matured into herself this year. She was actually giving plenty of weight to the first two at Goodwood last time out, and as Charlie said, she got a bit tired under pressure, but she'll take a massive step forward to that because she has actually really massively grown and filled into herself this year. So I really like her. Charlie's already given such a good case for her, so I don't have a lot to add on her. I just think I think she could be one that they could have a lot of fun with this season.
Okay, my selection, Struth, very much win and place. I feel the time to back a Charlie Johnson horses after they've run a bit of a stinker. I wasn't very impressed with the effort.
I tipped him last time. I'm not going with him again.
It is, honestly.
I love that as a betting theory.
Honestly, that's it. Again, I fancy this Johnson piece. Oh wait, it ran well last time. Did it run? Did it run an absolute? It's more. I don't mind if they run well, but it's more that I'm more forgiving a bad run, if that makes sense. I feel like they can throw in a shocker and then really bounce back and not per se be out of form. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Not that they have to have run shit last time. In fact, I mean, look, he hasn't shown much this season. He's back down to a mark that he can be competitive off, both on the turf and the all weather. I think a pace at this trip is probably what he wants, though. He won't be too far away. I just wasn't too excited about the top of the market. We know this horse stays, and I wanted to take something at a price. I'm not overly enamoured with the shape of the race, to be honest, but I'm going to go win and play Struth and try and get him in the 3. Right, the 2-year-old trophy is next. This is the 240. Nobody's with a favourite, I don't think. So this is the newcomer Shareholder, who is 2.8. Moving Force is 4.0. Regal Gem is 5.5. Who have you guys selected? Let's have a look. I'll come back to the favourite when we do lays because I'm against. Moving Force, Adele and Charlie again. You can start off this time, Adele.
To be honest, I'm not really that keen on any of them. I ride out at Carl, so I was hoping I would know a bit more about Shareholder, but obviously he's not been there that long. He come from the Akana Breeze Up sales, but I'm just basically going. I mean, Carl is doing so well with his 2-year-olds, and it's hard to kind of like go against Carl with a 2-year-old. But I just feel like
they've not let you sit on Shareholder yet, no? Unbelievable.
Oh no, I probably won't ride that one anyway. Not too expensive for me. I don't.
What about Leovani in the same colours, Adele? Did you see that win at Nottingham the other day? There seem to be a few Carl Wathnan 2-year-olds who might be quite excited.
I've not had anything to do with that. Don't forget, he's probably got about 100 2-year-olds, so
yeah,
it's
fair enough.
It's quite hard to see them all, but he did have a really nice one that was it American Pharaoh that finished second at Hamilton the other day, which I really liked him. I seen Rona ride him out the other day. I thought he could be nice for this season. But yeah, it's really hard to kind of get around them all because he has that many of them. But the good thing is he's having that many means, they go up in like nice bunches of 5s when they work, and he does, plenty with them. They're very well educated. So, and Shareholder's obviously been to the Breeze Up, so does have some education considering he's having his debut. But I just think the store 5, not ideal being out on a wing at Beverley, especially on your first run. And I just think a bit of experience is always beneficial. And I just quite like the fact that Moving Force was very, very strong at the line last time. Even though he was drawn wide, I thought he showed a really good attitude. Richards won the race a couple of times. So a bit of a tricky one, but I've gone with Moving Force. I'm not overly strong.
That's fine. Charlie?
Yeah, I just like the way, like Adele says, Moving Force is stuck out in the middle of the track. I thought he looked quite green and raw, but then when he really clicked in under pressure in the last half a furlong, he hit the line strong. And if they'd have gone another 100 yards, he'd have won 3 or 4 lengths. The second, the horse of Mick Appleby's that actually runs in the Hillary Needler, had the rail to run against and had the run of the race. And so I thought he did well to overcome that. Obviously, Shareholder is a very short price. It cost over 400 grand from the Breeze Ups in France, and is trained by Carl Burke, who's flying along, and Wathnan are having plenty of success and spend a lot of money. So I just felt that was priced up more on reputation and what those that have come before him have been doing rather than anything we know. I also, as Adele said, didn't like the fact that he's drawn out on the wing. If he's not away sharp, he could be trapped wide. And I just thought with Moving Force with the course form, he probably, on form, definitely deserves to be favoured, and therefore I thought he was interesting at 3.75.
And I'll just to flesh out being against Shareholder. Prince of Lear won it first up, went on to win at Ascot, but otherwise, I don't think it's the easiest place to come. I know there's only 5 opponents to come and win on debut in this type of race, anyway. But obviously, he's pretty highly regarded given that he heads the market. But I'd be just about against at that sort of price. Steve, who do you like?
Regal Gem, who won first time up at Pontefract over 6 furlongs, but he showed an awful lot of speed. You need speed at Pontefract. I know it's an uphill finish, but to get to the bend and to get a position is what you got to do at Pontefract, and he did that no problem whatsoever. I think he's going to be better suited by 5 furlongs at this stage. So I think if he was from a more fashionable stable, if you like, because he's trained by Tony Coyle and Kane Wood, But I think they've got a good horse on their hands here with loads of speed, and that's exactly what you need at Beverley for this type of race. And the shareholder's going to make the market, but an unraced horse in a race like this, even though he was cost a fortune at the Breeze Ups, I couldn't get excited about that. It's all on reputation and price tag, which doesn't mean a huge amount. So yeah, Regal Gem for me.
And that's us done on that contest. We move on to the Leicester Piggott Filly Stakes. Get a couple of big prices going up here as well. So I'll just start with the agreement first of all. Straight back at you, Steve. You and Adela with a Maestral Star. Try again. It's literally just been fucking talking. It's unbelievable. I don't even know how you do that.
Yeah, Mistral Star is a really interesting horse, I think, because she won very, very impressively in a handicap at Salisbury on fast ground last summer. And I thought then that she was a horse capable of going and making her mark in group races. And she only ran on soft ground after that in a listed race at Saint Cloud. And although she handles soft ground, I think she's better on quicker ground. And she made a respectable return to action in a listed race up at Ayr, which should have put the edge on her big time. But it's that Salisbury run in that handicap that I was so impressed with her. And this is full of horses that are kind of have had their chance at this sort of level, and she hasn't. And I think with that run behind her, I think she's going to have a really good chance. I really quite fancy her chances. Mistral Star winning place.
Adele?
Yeah, echo everything Steve said. I think she'll take a big step forward for her first run at Ayr, and obviously I just think she'll progress nicely this year. She's actually really well bred. She's closely related to Telecaster, Alsa Hale, Dam, second in the Oaks and Irish Oaks. So I think she could be a lot better this year. And as Steve said, I think she could easily make up into a nice pattern performer. Last year, she just obviously dipped her toe in listed company, and I think it kind of proves she's up to that level. So yeah, I think she'll take a huge step forward. And she was beaten by a horse who was horses who were fitter than her, so she'll come on for that. So yeah, I think she's a massive price. So I think you can have a nice little win and play her at the place as well.
It's a race I wanted to take a win and place price about, and mine was Carnifon, who that was really disappointing last time in the Middleton. I don't really know what. In fact, something did come to light. I think I heard Jack Shannon on the Nick Like Daily podcast, but either way, it was obviously too bad to be true. I think I'm positive about her going over further. I mean, that's not the angle at all. It's just that I think she's priced up on that poor run last time. Thought she ran pretty well at Newmarket prior to that on first start of the season. She should improve as a 4-year-old. She's yet to do so, but her form was pretty solid last year. I was surprised to see her at 13.0. I don't really mind where she's drawn. I know she's drawn wide, but I think she'll be able to get into it over this distance. And yeah, she was a fair old price given what she achieved as a 3-year-old. Charlie?
Sapphire Seas for me. Trappy race, I think, as everyone's sort of alluded to. She's only had the 7 starts, so there should be more progression within her. Finished off last season with a listed win at York, and then reappeared at Maidan, was second to English Rose in a Group 2 over there, which is good form. English Rose obviously runs in a Grade 1 at Saratoga later today, and then was in front of Carnarvon, finished 4th in the Middleton. Made the run in that day, and she was the only one I thought that give Blue Stocking any sort of race before Blue Stocking asserted, and she kind of paid for probably serving it up to a very, very talented rival. I thought with her that the up-in trip was definitely a positive. She's a Frankel. I think just being able to go a little bit steadier over another couple of furlongs will suit her well, and she's definitely got scope if that's the case to improve further. And at 7.5, I thought she was reasonable price.
That's the Leicester Pig at Philly Stakes. We move back to Beverley. Reminder, we've got Carnarvon, two shouts for Mistral Star and Sapphire Seas for Charlie. 7.5 furlong for this handicap at Beverley. That's the 3:15. Again, some prices going up here. It's the sort of weekend where we could either look very clever or we could absolutely donut, isn't it? They're tricky races with some big prices going up. Adele, you can make the case first of all. Surprisingly, yours at 9.5 eligible is the shortest of all our selections. So that's how confident we are. Take it away.
Oh gosh. Well, I actually quite like Billy B, but I think Steve's gone for that one. So I actually thought I'd go for my next best, which is Eligible, who's back down to the mark he won at York last year. He won quite a nice competitive handicap, a very similar, not like a 0 to 85. So I thought the fact he's back down to a winning mark, his draw of 15 is obviously a little bit of a question mark, but he's a hold-up performer. So I thought really he should be able to just drop in then quite easily from that draw. So him, but to be honest with you, it won't surprise me. It's one of those races where I feel like I actually write more reasons as to why they can't win as to why they can win, because there's so many question marks to all of them. But I just thought back, one of Michael and David Easterby's back down to a mark that he can win off. I thought I'll go with him.
It's Charlie and I with Billy B. Charlie, I was looking for something that I thought Grant would appreciate being back on a firm surface, and I thought he shaped with promise on first start for the new yard last time.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was a good first run at York. He was prominent, weak and slightly inside the final furlong. He's down a pound, which I think puts him off 76. I think for Anduffy, he'd won off 82, so he's handicapped to win a race. He's also drawn in 4, and hopefully he can get out, Tom, and get a prominent pitch early, which I don't think I think is important over that trip around the 7 furlong track at Beverley. It does suit prominent racers and ones that are able to get handy from an inside draw.
Big price yours, Steve.
Yeah, big enough. Certainly, No Nay Nicky, who's trained by Richard Fahey, who's had a bit of a slow start to the season, but his horses are really kicking into gear now. And No Nay Nicky has got a hood on for only the second time. And the first time, strangely, that he wore a hood was way back in July of 2022 when he was second to Billy B at Doncaster. So they've waited a long time to lock horns again. But the other thing with No Nay Nicky, he responded very well to a change of headgear when he had cheek pieces on for the first time last September when he won at Thirsk on fast ground. And since then, he's only really been running on softer ground. So I'm hoping that the return to quick ground and the headgear, because he pulled very hard on his return to action. He can be a bit keen. I just think I got a funny feeling that No Nay Nicky might run an awful lot better than his price. And with the yard being in hitting form, I quite like No Nay Nicky winning place, 21.0, something like that.
Good. I've got a funny feeling No Nay Nicky's a girl.
Yeah, it probably would be, wouldn't it? Sorry. Yeah, you're right. She is. Sorry.
The great thing is
in the morning.
No, but do you know what? I wouldn't do that to anyone else. I wouldn't.
I know you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't.
I know you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. Just you. And it's because I love you. That's why.
The fact that at 10 o'clock you're also saying it's too early in the morning. You want to get up in the morning.
I don't think you're the first one, Steve, to call a he a she or a she a he.
Of course not. Of course not.
It's too early for me. I was working till midnight.
Oh,
because I'm a member at the local brewery, and
right, moving on. Don't you start, Jones?
Just don't practice unlocks. He messaged Paul and said, "Can you tell Adele to stop calling my call a girl?" It was just so small. I kept calling it.
Take on Steve Jones at your peril, right? Okay, we all had a go there. Yes, 2 shouts for BB. No, Nicky, eligible. John Agorn up next. This is the 3:35 at Haydock. Nice open renewal of this. We've got last year's winner in there, Jumby, who is backing up at a fair old price. Noble Dynasty was impressive last time, 5.0. Witch Hunter ran a good race in the lock-ins to get into third, is 6.5. Pogo is 8.0, Ramazan 8.0, Time of Flow 8.0, bigger prices thereafter. We'll start with the biggest price of the lot. Oh, well, it's back at you, Steve. I was tempted. It's 26.0.
I can't believe I'm tipping a 10-year-old who, well, he has placed at group level, but he's never won at group level. But the thing with Bless Him is he doesn't get his setup in group races because he needs them to go flat out. He's had his best in those big field handicaps at Ascot, where Jamie Spencer is superb in those sort of races. It just timing everything right. But when you consider the pace in this race, a Point Linus goes flat out from the start. Pogo isn't far off it, nor is Flight Plan. Quinault, even though this is 7 furlongs, is a horse that makes the running. And even Noble Dynasty and horses like that. So there's almost a guarantee that they're going to go really quick in this. And that's when Bless Him runs his best races. And he's still capable horse, even though he's a 10-year-old. When things do go his way, he was only beaten a neck in the Victoria Cup, which is one of those races where they go flat out at Ascot on that straight course. And that shows that he's capable, and on his best form, he's gonna be in there with some sort of chance if they go flat out. But don't expect to see him in until the last 100 yards. But yeah, stranger things have happened. So I thought Witch Hunter of those at the top of the betting was the most likely one, but I just can't resist Bless Him, especially with Jamie. He's just gonna be. You won't see him until the last few moments, but hopefully he'll be sticking his head in the frame, or even could he win it? Maybe.
So that was my angle in that there's loads of pace. I honestly nearly went for Bless Him. And I think it'd be half interesting if he's in an Ascot handicap as well. But I've come down with probably the only horse I'm really keen to back on the day, if I'm honest, which is Sirona's second start for David Menouissier, who I thought she shaped with promise at Lingfield when getting a bump at the start. That doesn't really matter with her in the sense that she tends to be pretty patiently ridden. I think this is her distance. The ground is a slight concern because her last win came on soft, sure, but she should just have a perfect setup here. Loads of pace in the race. Hopefully she'll take a step forward for the first start for the yard. That tends to be how he approaches it anyway. I'd be surprised if on first start for Menouissier she was fully revved up last time. He tends to have a much more slowly whole season approach. And she's 17.0. She should have the perfect setup. So I'd be quite excited about her. Adele.
I'm going with Witch Hunter because, as we said, we think there could be plenty of pace on, and I just thought it might set up for him perfectly. He's coming in obviously off the back of a very good run in the Lock-Inge. The Spring Cup back there probably wasn't ran to suit him when you needed more an emphasis of kind of gears and speed. And I think if they go quick, I think it'll suit him much better. And I hope this will just set him up then perfectly for if he goes to Royal Ascot. So Witch Hunter for me. I was nearly going to go with Pogo, but I just think there's so much pace on. I just don't think you want to be up the front. And although he goes very well at Haydock, his only other time when he ran there was when he won the race in 2022. So he likes it there. Love the ground, but I think I'm going to go Witch Hunter.
Okay, Charlie.
I've gone with one that's on the pace. I mean, I sometimes do think as well, jockeys, they look at it and think there's going to be loads of pace, and therefore everyone becomes wary of injecting too much pace. And this Point Linus, he goes strong over a mile and still hits the line hard, which he did at York last time off 100. I don't see back down in a furlong in trip as a problem for him, Callum Rodriguez can be ultra aggressive. He's progressed seriously well for the Ed Bethel yard, and he was fourth behind Chindit in a Group 3 here at the end of last year. And I thought the return showed that he stepped forward again. He beat Northern Express, and they were a mile clear of the third. He's a 5-year-old, but he's still unexposed, and I think he's still improving for the yard. And they've done this before with similar types of horses. And look, maybe there will be too much pace, but he's an ultra quick horse, and it's the way he has to run anyway, so I don't see that being problematic. And I thought at 17.0, being able to back him win and place, he's a horse that could still be on the upgrade for all that he doesn't maybe come with as a sexier profile as some of these other established group performers.
All right, that's the John of Gaunt done. We move on to any other bets. Adele, you've got one at Catterick for us. Take it away.
Oh, Northerner. Can't remember what time it runs at. 3 something, wasn't it?
I'll tell you, we've written it down. 3:55 at Catterick.
Makes handicap debut, and I thought has shown enough to warrant that. Is capable of winning a race, and there's a few in it that literally have had plenty of chances to get the head in front. So I just thought if he can back up what he's been showing in kind of novice maiden company, I thought he might run well. Not prices,
Okay,
though.
No, that's no prices yet, but we'll see. I mean, I think it's going to be relatively open. A 15 runner Class 6 handicap at Catterick, and Adele's put up Northerner. I wanted to turn your attention to the 145 at Navan, which is a maiden. I don't know the price about Red Evolution yet, who shaped like the best horse in the race at the Curragh last time in the race won by Henry Matisse. Good maiden, that. Colin Keane back on board for Michael O'Callaghan, who tends to have him pretty revved up first time, I know, but he basically should have won for my money. So it's all going to be price related. You've got Alfred Tennyson in there for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien, another Aidan O'Brien newcomer in there. Who actually might be a big price because they can be if Ryan isn't on them. But I just thought there was a chance this horse was a bit disrespected at the prices. He should certainly be favourite. And if there's, maybe I'm completely wrong and it'll be odds on, but if he was 2.5 or bigger, then I will definitely be backing that horse. That is Red Evolution in the 145 at Navan. Right, we move on to Matchbook Zero. Long shot. Matchbook Zero goes live at 10 a.m. each day. If you want a win bet, it's well worth heading there because you're most likely to be getting best odds because of the fact Matchbook's an exchange, and those exchange prices are further enhanced because there's zero margin, zero commission. Head there from 10 a.m. each day. Mine is Serona in the John of Gaunt, 17.0. Adele.
Call Me Harswell in the Hillary Needler. I think she is 17.0.
17.0. Steve.
Mistral Star in that 3 o'clock at Haydock. I think she is very, very overpriced.
15.0. Charlie. Long shot, not that long anymore.
I was going to say not anymore. So can I change Dan Hussey and I'll put Point Linus in the 335 at Haydock, 17.0.
You can indeed. Best lays. Adele, do we agree on both of them? Do we? Live in the Dream.
I know.
At 2.1 or shorter, obviously, and Shareholder in the newcomer in the 2-year-old trophy. There we are. I think we've explained why. So Adele and I Live in the Dream in the 150 at Haydock, and Shareholder 2.75 or shorter in the 240 at Beverley. Obviously, any drift would put us off those lays. Right, best bets. Again, mine is Serona in the feature at Haydock, 17.0. Adele.
I'm taking you on, Tom, in the feature with Witch Hunter.
That is very much allowed. I'll be happy if mine can place, yours can win. There you go. Steve?
Knightswood, 225 Haydock.
Charlie Post.
Moving Force, 240 Beverley. Adele, you're not really getting good lots at Carl's if you're putting his up as lays. That's a big no. I'd have thought, as in. And Tom, just before I finish, can I just chuck one in the 803 at Haydock? Just one to watch. There's a horse called King's College. It looks an ultra. It's a red hot, like almost a Chesham trial. We sold the horse to Jamie Insole. His work has been really good. He's like 29.0, bigger in places. They're hopeful of a big run from this horse, and he might just be one. He probably, whether he can win, there's some with really sexy profiles, but he is a horse to watch. He breathes very well, and his work has been very good since.
So this is the 803 tonight it says
Haydock,
King's College.
Yeah.
King's College. Okay, that's in the 803 this evening. All right, good stuff, everyone. Adele, welcome back. Lovely to have you. Steve, thank you. Charlie, thank you. Look out for the podcast coming your way next week. There'll be a regular racing podcast, also one building up to the Euros, which kicks off at the back end of next week. And then off the back of that is Ascot. It's getting a busy time again. We'll see you soon. Have a good weekend.